Hey, welcome. Glad to have you here. And if you are you ready for some live stream contemplative art experience? I got to get into a contemplative space because Facebook has just made me a little bit jumbled in my head. So it's okay. It is what it is. Hopefully my Facebook friends will find us over here on YouTube. And I'm excited about tonight. So if you're with me on YouTube, I'd love to know that you're there and who you are, where you're from. Just drop a note in the chat. I can see your chat. So tonight we're going to jump into the contemplative practice around the theme of peace. And so I'm going to pull up my verse. This is my interactive screen. And so as we get into it, let me turn down the volume of the music here. As we get into a contemplative space tonight, I want to read, this is a part of the psalm for this coming week. So if you don't know how Advent works, there are 4 weeks in Advent, and many people have the tradition of using an Advent wreath. And an Advent wreath, you light a candle for each week. And so each week you have more and more candles lit. So you can see on my screen here, right below me, I've got 2 candles lit. So we're lighting the candle of peace. So let's just look at this verse for a second, and then I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna draw based on it. Psalm 85 says, "Let me hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace to his people, to his faithful, to those who turn to him in their hearts. Surely his salvation is at hand for those who fear him, that his glory may dwell in our land. Steadfast love and faithfulness will meet. Righteousness and peace will kiss each other. Faithfulness will spring up from the ground, and righteousness will look down from the sky. The Lord will give what is good, and our land will yield its increase. Righteousness will go before him, and will make a path for his steps." So I invite you to just ponder that verse for a minute as we breathe together. I want to make a couple observations. So one of the things that I see in this verse is that it's a verse about peace. For he will speak peace to his people. The verse that really captures me this week is verse 10 right here, where it says that steadfast love, which in Hebrew is chesed, and faithfulness, which is emet, says they will meet. So these two things will meet. And then righteousness, tzedek, and peace, which is shalom, will kiss each other. And in Hebrew poetry, this is called a parallelism, where there's one line that makes a statement about steadfast love and faithfulness meeting, and then the second line repeats it, saying righteousness and peace, not only will they meet each other, but they will kiss each other. I find that really intriguing. And then it says faithfulness will spring up from the ground, and righteousness will look down from the sky. So I love all these metaphors. So I've been thinking about that this week, and I'm going to create a piece of art that kind of reflects on that. So the way this live stream works is I've got some chill music playing for you. Hopefully you can hear that. Hey, Brent is here, relaxing with your art. Thanks, Brent, so much. Hope it's not too cold. Hey, Bobby and Rhonda. Oh, so good to see you guys. Hey, Bobby and Rhonda, did you try to get on Facebook and then you saw my message and hopped over? Let me know if that's what worked for you, because it really stressed me out a little bit that Facebook didn't work again. I got to figure out what's going on. So yes, drop me a chat. So here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to be here for more than an hour. It might not be a whole hour, but I invite you to either just sit back and relax and enjoy while I create this art as I reflect on the theme of peace and on that passage. Or if you want to make your own art or do some kind of contemplative practice that works for you, I invite you to do that. So, but for much of this, I won't be talking. That's why I've got the music playing for you. So just enjoy. So here we go. I'll do a little commentary along the way just to let you know what's going on in my head. So I've got this blue background because, you know, Advent is blue. And the first thing I want to do is just use a nice yellow, and I want to create kind of like a, whoops. Like a piece of fabric. So this is just going to be some abstract patterns that I'm going to create. So I'm thinking of this as like a weaving, maybe. So I'm wanting to get the texture in there. Oh yeah, I was going to put a little, speaking of texture, I was going to put a little watercolor texture in the background. So I like how watercolor gives a little bit of toothy grain to the background. It's kind of fun. And I'm going to turn up, I turned my music way too down. I'm going to turn up my music so that I can hear it too. There we go. Now I can hear it. Not get in the zone. And tuning in from Kansas City. Excellent. Thanks for saying hello. Yep, Facebook didn't work, but this link totally did. Thank you for sharing. Okay, great. Thanks, Rhonda and Bobby. So glad you're here. I hope you enjoy this. Okay. So let's go back here, and I've got choosing a smooth pastel brush. For those of you who are interested in the technical side of it, I decided this week to not show you all of my tools, because I asked somebody today whether they thought that was distracting to see all the tools, and I don't want you to be distracted. So if you enjoy Photoshop and you want to know how I'm doing it, my little inset one over here, you can kind of get a feel for it, but this is more about the contemplative practice than about the technology of it. So, but I'm using Photoshop, drawing on my Cintiq. So I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to put maybe a pattern like this. I don't know if I'm channeling my Minnesotan here, kind of like a Norwegian sweater or something. I don't know. Just kind of randomly making up patterns. So what I'm imagining with this, why I'm doing this kind of a thing, is kind of like a piece of fabric that has a nice pattern to it, and it's whole and it's together. Then I'm going to make a layer underneath it. I'm going to fill that layer with red, kind of a deep red. And so our theme is peace, right? So I'm going to take an eraser, and I'm going to start shredding this. Because the unfortunate reality of our world is that we are anything but a unified piece of beautiful fabric. Now, it might look like I'm painting red over the top of this fabric, but what I'm actually doing is erasing it with a textured eraser. I want to try to get that sense of tattered. Cindy Bailey. Oh, Cindy, I'm so glad you made it. Hey, Cindy, did you try to get on Facebook and then saw my message? I just want to make sure that people are seeing my message, because once again, Facebook failed me. All right, so I don't want this to look too nice. I want it to be. So I'm going to take my pencil again and just kind of draw some like tattered threads. So I'm just imagining this as like the tapestry of humanity, just kind of frazzled. And I'm imagining these like threads. They also kind of look like hair, or I don't know. What do those look like to you? Maybe drop it in the chat. Oh, Cindy went right to YouTube. Great. Okay. Well, I might just give up on Facebook. Tell everybody to go to YouTube. YouTube works for me. So there you go. See, I've got these yellow as just like little. So these are fragments, right? This fabric is ripped and separated, and that's kind of how I feel like we are in the world today. So I'm going to take this spatter brush, and I want to try to. I'm going to draw. I'm just going to do some random abstract kind of texture behind in this field in the background. Kind of represents for me the division, the pain, the violence, the suffering that we experience. Because, Advent is a season that tries to imagine the Hebrew people as they were, they had just returned from exile in Babylon, and they were wondering where God was, where the promises of God were. So now you can kind of see a little shadow under there. And Advent is like a season of darkness. It's a season of waiting. Let's maybe throw some I'm imagining like war, really, just war, violence, background. Cindy said it looks like thread. Yeah, sweet. That's what I was hoping for. Maybe I'll throw some ominous texture back there. Kind of gross. And I got another splatter. Throw some splatter. It's like innocent blood, maybe. So there we go. So that's kind of this background of division and pain. But then as I was meditating on this idea of peace, that verse, a couple things stood out to me. It said that steadfast love and faithfulness will meet, and righteousness and peace, or shalom, will kiss each other, and that this was like a picture of peace. And so here's what I want to, I'm just going to sit back and sketch this out and see if you guys can see what I'm doing here. Cindy, Gaza Strip, yeah, for real. If anybody needs peace, it's those guys. Such a tragic situation in every way. I just forgot how hands look when they you gotta have a thumb. Oh yeah, that thing goes up there. Well, that just turned into a mess, didn't it? So what we've got going on here is kind of my interpretation of the passage, where you have steadfast love and faithfulness meeting, and righteousness and peace kissing. And then it said in verse 11 that it would spring up like a fountain. So what I'm going to do now is just have this kind of curl around. Ooh, that kind of makes like a screaming face. I don't want to do that. So I feel like in here I need a little bit of darker lines just to define this a little bit. Sloppy, wet kiss of righteousness and peace meeting. I think David Crowder wrote a song about that. Sloppy, wet kiss. See, how does that look like? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go underneath this layer with my airbrush. And I'm going to make this soft light. But that doesn't want to work. Vivid light's kind of cool. I'm gonna let peace just fill in all these cracks. The thing about peace is that the Hebrew word shalom doesn't just mean the absence of violence. It actually means the presence of something. So the peace of God has substance to it. Peace of God flows in and takes up residence and replaces the violence with healing and righteousness. Which is really good news. And then let's see, I'm gonna go back here, and I want to fill this. I'm gonna fill this space, kind of like with a sky. Then above that, I want to do an overlay do one more that's called add. And I think just for kicks, I'm going to put I'm going to put the words on here of I got to go back to my verse. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pull up my verse. Psalm 85:18 said, steadfast love and faithfulness will meet. And those words are actually, I've got this cool thing where I can actually change this to chesed and emet. So I'm just gonna go Hebrew on us, make it artsy. Let's get rid of that. And let's go with chesed Chesed and emet meet, and tzedek and shalom. Kiss. And so I'm just going to put down here Psalm move that over a little bit. 85. If I choose warp, I can fix the curve on that. Psalm 85. Like that. let's see, how does that look? Peace, tzedek, and shalom, kiss. Chesed and emet, meet. Well, there you go. I think that's going to be it today. So, love to know what you think. Hope you had a good time reflecting on this. Can zoom in just a little bit for you. So this is peace flowing down into the kissing faces and the shaking hands, which is the repairing of the tapestry that was torn in the beginning, and it fills in the spaces of violence. So I wasn't sure where this drawing was going to go. I'm playing with a few different ideas this week, and when I sit down and do this, it just kind of happens. Let's see. All right, there you go. Hey, thanks for joining me tonight. This was fun, and I hope that you have enjoyed this time. Sorry about Facebook not working, and I think I'm going to be done. I hope you had a good contemplative practice, and blessed Advent, and we'll see you next Tuesday on YouTube. Okay, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for being with me.